and talk about the new moon in Sagittarius, which occurred yesterday and still fully in effect today. There's really good aspects in that air today. Um, Venus in a trine to Uranus is so uplifting. And we had good aspects. Well, sort of. We'll talk about that. Um, Fairly good aspects to the moon in Sagittarius yesterday, the new moon. Mercury retrograde as well. So we have another look see at what it is that we give meaning to and what we aspire to. So we've got a trine from the new moon in Sagittarius to Mars, and then a square from the new moon to Saturn. So this is interesting because we have forward motion, ease with the trine, of feeling like I want to take action on something because this is an action oriented sign, Sagittarius. Fire signs are. They're impulsive. It's where we have inspiration, spirit, and it moves us. Hey, Charlotte. Hey, Anne. So there's heart in this particular lunation cycle. There's a joyfulness, an optimism. We're looking up and out. With the lunation cycle in Scorpio and then consequently in Taurus, we were looking down and in. This was an introspective time. But now that we've gathered energy, as we do in yin signs, now that we've gathered energy, we've gathered ourselves together, we've had the binder with the sleep. Now we can move forward. We can have the action. We can do the yang stuff. We can go for it in Sagittarius. This is a very bold sign. It's a very bold cycle that has us acting on whimsy, hope, what comes into our heart, the desires of our spirit, not the ego. Hopefully, we've been burning through that this year. Hopefully, we've been getting the lesson, as all of the lunation cycles this year have been leading us to the lesson that if you interpret through the lens of fear and trauma and lack, that is what you see. You will not see something or somebody as they are. You will see the projection of your own inner state. And so that inner state, your way of being, has to elevate, has to change, has to alchemize so that you can see people and things for what they are. You're not caught up in projection and then fighting against yourself or struggling against yourself or acting out and then having to deal with the reaction. So many of us that have done our good work this year have come to a place of taking action, because we're being mindful. We are not being reactive. We are not act. We are not just caught up in reaction. That's tossing the karmic ball back and forth. You can choose to catch it or not. When you're mindful, when we're not just reenacting what happened because we're in a place of defense or being concerned with how we're seen, we're more coming at things through the lens of curiosity or unconditional love. Um, we don't automatically pick anything up. We don't chase. We don't automatically get a rise out of somebody that has come to a certain degree of emotional mastery. And that is so much what last month, what the lunation cycle in Scorpio and Taurus was trying to bring forth in us, was to look deep at what we're really truly motivated by. How do we act out in ways that where we perturb ourselves? We are our own worst enemy. Oh God, and then the lunation cycle in Pisces we had a couple of months ago. Woo! When we have the cycles in the water signs, they are extremely impactful when it comes to feelings, turning inward, reflection. And then when we have these lunation cycles in fire signs, they're very powerful when it comes to us acting on what we've reflected on, what we've taken in, showing the evidence on the outside, bringing to the world the evidence of what we've been through, what we've seen, what we've come to realize. The internal state becomes externalized when we have these exciting lunation cycles and fire signs. So the square from the moon to Mars has us wanting to go forward. I'm sorry, the trine from moon to Mars has us wanting to go forward easily, but we have the brakes on with the moon to Saturn. So this is interesting because we want to move forward because we have this confidence, we have this ability with the trine, we have a capability here we want to act on, but we have what ifs. We have the voice of reason. We have the voice of, but what if I fail? We have the voice of, but what could happen? It is often hypervigilance that we're dealing with because we seek to avoid disconnection or emotional abandonment with a moon Saturn square. So we're pulled between this urgency with a moon and a trine to Mars and this awareness of consequences, and it puts us in a position where we can act on our bliss. We can go towards our bliss. That's what the new moon in Sagittarius wants us to do, is plant blissful seeds. Seeds that give rise at the full moon to evidence of our growth, evidence of our bravery, of our confidence, of having gone through the karmic war with the lunation cycle in Scorpio, gone through the karmic war, faced our demons, even seen the worst of ourselves. We come to this resurrection in Sagittarius where we can forgive ourselves, seek forgiveness, be reborn, and come through this karmic rite of passage. We can regain ourselves in Sagittarius. So we're planting seeds that give rise to the birth of a bigger, better dream. Sometimes it's a resurrection of a dream. What is it that makes us want to get out of bed in the morning? That's what we need to embrace. What is it that inspires us? That's what and who we need to embrace. Who uplifts us? Who and what invites us to be a bigger, broader, more intelligent, more wisdom-filled version of ourselves? What's good for us. That is the direction that we need to go. So we are planting hopeful seeds this cycle, and they will lead good results if you are going towards your bliss. That means looking at what is it that beckons you. Hmm. What is it? What is it that makes you happy? Get honest with yourself. Because sometimes what really makes us happy, what we really choose, it might be different than the things that we profess to believe, the things that we embrace, the things that we're married to, the things that we're committed to, the things that we're already invested in. And sometimes what makes our heart aflutter, what it is that uplifts us, that we want, our bliss, sometimes that changes throughout our life. And we have to be brave enough to own that and admit that. Because if we aren't following our bliss, we are sinning against our own heart. We cannot be conscious co-creators. We cannot be a light worker. You cannot be somebody that is guided by divine intel if you are divorced from your bliss, because you have to deny the warmth. You have to deny the direction. That if you were living your most authentic life and telling the truth, you would be going in that direction. This is a lunation cycle where we plant seeds of the truth. Sometimes the truth is terribly destructive because it will destroy, challenge, rattle what it is that is not built on authenticity and truth. And if we have a house of cards that we're trying to protect, it takes all of our energy. If we're living authentically and naturally and we're letting the chips fall where they may, because we're not trying to keep it all up. If people like us, they like us. If they don't, they don't. If people approve, they approve. If they don't, they don't. Fuck them. Embrace them if they embrace you, and if they don't, find a way to live with it. Because if you have to choose someone else's approval over your own disapproval of yourself, you'll die from the inside. This lunation cycle is about aliveness and discovering that spark and listening to it, because that is the guidance. If it feels good, that's a good direction to go. If it feels bad, if it feels awkward, if it feels questionable, if it feels confusing, you need to find a different interpretation, or sometimes you need to back away. Sometimes you need to say no. Because choosing yourself, putting yourself first, it makes you plain. You can't hide when you admit what you want. You can't hide when you put yourself first. And yeah, it puts you at risk of rejection. It does. Because when you're a chameleon, well, you're ensuring that everybody likes you. because you're controlling how they think. You're controlling their opinion. You're trying to keep all those balls in the air. It takes all of your energy and all of your focus. And you cannot put that energy and focus into the proper direction. And your purpose and calling, you can't hear it because you're responding to what everybody else needs. So they will see you a certain way. You're living out unexamined control paradigms. So we see beyond. We're climbing the mountain. The peak of the mountain's actually Capricorn, where we're going to get to here. We're climbing the mountain. We're achieving more and more elevation and seeing farther and ever more broad, interesting, educational vistas. Sagittarius is the journey. That's what's so much fun. Think about it when you're hiking. Yeah, there's a destination. You may want to get to the top so you can get that great view. It's the hike, though. It's so much fun. Even with no destination, I don't even care. When I hike, I do not even care. There doesn't have to be anything other than a territorial view or anything else to discover other than what is right there. It's the company, it's the sounds, it's the smells, it's the being, it's the everything. The best part is the hike. I mean, think about life. Is death the final destination? Is that really? Is that it? Is that what you're waiting for? Because that's going to be the best part? No, it's the life, is the journey. We're learning to embrace the truth within us and the journey, and to redirect too, to be flexible. This is a more flexible sign, Sagittarius. And, it's multi-directional when it comes to what we choose. It's not a fixed energy. So we can redirect when we really consult what we really want, what's authentic, what is behind our fears, what's behind all that. So be open to guidance. And try to find a better way of seeing or interpreting or understanding if something doesn't sit right with your soul. Because there is a better truth. So, thank you guys for joining me. I'm going to go inside. It's freezing cold out here. It's hot tub time with the family. I think tonight we are going to torture each other with songs that we know at least one other person in the group hates. And I know the two that I'm going to be tortured with already. We've played this game before. So, yeah, it's always a hoot when this one comes out. Sometimes it's guilty pleasures. We all have to admit to a song it's a guilty pleasure that you would never want anybody to know that you actually like or listen to because it's embarrassing. I think that's all I have to say about that. I have a few. Alrighty, guys. Use this new moon wisely and listen to your heart.